footage of Bieber, Odell Beckham, and Trey songs.
Yes.
And Trey's literally sitting there playing Lookout.
Playing Lookout as Justin Bieber goes down on Odell.
And young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills. Bashir Gray.
In a recent interview with Storm Monroe, soul singer Jaguar Wright dropped a bombshell of allegations regarding the experiences of pop sensation Justin Bieber within the corridors of power in the music industry. With a demeanor that mixed urgency and conviction, Wright painted a grim picture of Bieber's encounters with none other than the influential mogul, Diddy. In her candid interview, Wright didn't mince words. She alleged that Bieber wasn't merely a protege under Diddy's wing, but was, in fact, subjected to a series of manipulative and exploitative situations that would make any observer's blood run cold. From suggesting that Diddy used Bieber for his own gratification to insinuating that he facilitated Bieber's exploitation by others within the industry, Wright's claims were as disturbing as they were unsettling. Her revelations sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, prompting a reevaluation of Bieber's rise to stardom and the dark underbelly of the music industry.
And then I think about that really disturbing footage of Bieber, Odell Beckham, and Trey songs.
Yes.
And Trey's literally sitting there playing Lookout.
Playing Lookout as Justin Bieber goes down on Odell.
The boy came up with his mouth wet.
Mouth wet.
What?
Dribbling. Now what they're gonna try to say is, no, Justin Bieber was just doing a line of coke. No, he didn't mess with his nose when he came
was
up.
doing a line of coke with his mouth.
He wiped his mouth. When you do
his mouth was wet.
You do this when you finish your line.
His
you wipe your mouth when you
wet. The post-nasal drip, that was seminal fluid.
It was Odell.
As fans and critics alike grappled with the implications of Wright's claims, one thing became clear. The narrative surrounding Bieber and Diddy was about to take a chilling turn. Amid the swirling controversy surrounding music industry titan Diddy, fresh insights provided by Jaguar Wright's recent revelations serve as a stark reminder of the dark underbelly of fame and power. The intricate web of exploitation allegedly woven by Diddy, involving not only Justin Bieber but also other emerging talents like Meek Mill, unveils a troubling pattern that demands closer scrutiny and introspection. Delving into the depths of Diddy's purported manipulation and coercion, it becomes apparent that his influence extended far beyond mere mentorship, blurring the lines between guidance and exploitation. The narrative painted by Wright's disclosures underscores a harrowing reality, where young artists, eager for mentorship and guidance in an unforgiving industry, find themselves ensnared in a web of manipulation and abuse. From the eerie parallels drawn between Bieber's trajectory and Cassie's lawsuit revelations to the unsettling footage depicting Bieber's alleged involvement in disturbing acts, each piece of the puzzle adds weight to the allegations against Diddy. The emergence of videos showcasing Bieber's interactions with Odell Beckham Jr. and Trey Songz, coupled with Wright's commentary, paints a chilling picture of a young artist thrust into a world of darkness, far removed from the glitz and glamour of the spotlight. Furthermore, the correlation between Bieber's decline into substance abuse and his association with Diddy raises troubling questions about the true nature of their relationship. The tantalizing allure of fame and success, coupled with the allure of mentorship from an industry heavyweight, may have clouded Bieber's judgment, leading him down a path fraught with danger and exploitation. As the spotlight shifts to other artists like Meek Mill, who find themselves embroiled in similar controversies, it becomes increasingly evident that Diddy's alleged exploitation knows no bounds. Wright's assertions regarding Meek Mill's involvement, coupled with resurfaced footage and photographs, add another layer of complexity to an already convoluted narrative, leaving observers grappling with uncomfortable truths about the price of fame. In essence, Wright's revelations serve as a sobering reminder of the darker side of the music industry, where power and influence can be wielded as weapons of manipulation and exploitation. As the dust settles and the investigation into Diddy's alleged misconduct intensifies, the industry finds itself at a crossroads, forced to confront uncomfortable truths and reckon with the pervasive culture of abuse that has long lurked beneath the surface. The unveiling of controversy within the music industry came to the forefront with the emergence of Cassie's lawsuit, which shed light on disturbing details surrounding exploitation and abuse. Cassie's legal action served as a catalyst for broader conversations about power dynamics, coercion, and manipulation within the industry, prompting a reckoning with long-standing issues that had been kept hidden for too long. Cassie's lawsuit, a pivotal moment in the industry, exposed the dark underbelly of exploitation and abuse that had remained concealed for years. Through her legal action, Cassie bravely confronted her alleged abuser, bringing to light the systemic failures and institutional complicity that enabled such misconduct to occur unchecked. Her courage in speaking out sparked a wave of solidarity and support from fellow survivors, advocates, and allies, catalyzing a broader movement for accountability and change. Within Cassie's lawsuit lay a series of disturbing allegations that shocked the music industry and the public alike. These allegations ranged from instances of emotional manipulation and coercion to more egregious forms of exploitation and abuse. They painted a harrowing picture of an industry rife with unchecked power dynamics, where artists and industry professionals alike were vulnerable to exploitation at the hands of those in positions of authority. At the heart of Cassie's lawsuit were allegations of pervasive power dynamics and coercion, wherein individuals in positions of power leveraged their influence to exploit and manipulate vulnerable artists. These power differentials created environments ripe for abuse, where artists were often left with little recourse or protection against the actions of their abusers. The pervasive nature of these dynamics underscored the need for systemic reforms to address root causes and prevent future instances of exploitation. Cassie's lawsuit also shed light on the role of institutional complicity in perpetuating cycles of exploitation and abuse within the music industry. From record labels to management agencies, institutions across the industry were implicated in enabling and even facilitating misconduct, turning a blind eye to warning signs, and prioritizing profit over the well-being of artists and industry professionals. This complicity underscored the need for comprehensive reforms to hold institutions accountable and create safer environments for all. In the wake of Cassie's lawsuit and the disturbing details it brought to light, there were widespread calls for accountability from all corners of the industry. Survivors, advocates, and allies alike demanded justice for those impacted by exploitation and abuse, urging industry leaders to take decisive action to address systemic failures and prevent future harm. These calls for accountability marked a turning point in the industry's response to misconduct, signaling a collective commitment to confront uncomfortable truths and enact meaningful change. The impact of Cassie's lawsuit extended far beyond the confines of the courtroom, sparking a ripple effect that reverberated throughout the music industry and beyond. From heightened scrutiny of industry practices to increased awareness of power, dynamics, and consent, the lawsuit prompted a broader reckoning with issues of exploitation and abuse that had long been swept under the rug. This ripple effect underscored the need for sustained efforts to address systemic failures and create a safer, more equitable industry for all. The landscape of troubling incidents within the music industry is characterized by a disturbing array of footage and allegations that have come to light, shedding light on the pervasive nature of exploitation and abuse. These incidents, ranging from unsettling footage to harrowing allegations, serve as stark reminders of the systemic failures and institutional complicity that enable such misconduct to occur unchecked. The emergence of unsettling footage depicting various incidents has sent shockwaves through the music industry, laying bare the dark underbelly of exploitation and abuse that lurks beneath the surface. From footage allegedly showing inappropriate behavior to scenes hinting at coercion and manipulation, these videos have prompted widespread concern and condemnation, sparking urgent calls for accountability and reform. In addition to disturbing footage, a series of harrowing allegations have further underscored the pervasive nature of exploitation and abuse within the industry. These allegations, often stemming from survivors and whistleblowers, paint a troubling picture of an industry plagued by unchecked power dynamics and systemic failures. From stories of emotional manipulation to accounts of more egregious forms of misconduct, these allegations serve as a stark reminder of the urgent need for systemic change. At the heart of these troubling incidents lie underlying power dynamics that perpetuate cycles of exploitation and abuse within the music industry. From artists to industry professionals, individuals across the spectrum are vulnerable to exploitation at the hands of those in positions of authority. These power differentials create environments ripe for abuse, where survivors often find themselves silenced and marginalized. unable to speak out against their abusers for fear of reprisal or retaliation. Compounding the problem is the issue of institutional complicity, wherein institutions across the industry are implicated in enabling and perpetuating cycles of exploitation and abuse. From record labels to management agencies, these institutions often prioritize profit over the well-being of artists and industry professionals, turning a blind eye to warning signs and failing to take decisive action to address misconduct. This institutional complicity serves to perpetuate cycles of harm, further entrenching the culture of silence and impunity that allows exploitation to thrive. In response to these troubling incidents, there have been widespread calls for accountability and reform from all corners of the industry. Survivors, advocates, and allies alike have demanded justice for those impacted by exploitation and abuse, urging industry leaders to take decisive action to address systemic failures and prevent future harm. These calls for accountability and reform represent a collective commitment to confronting uncomfortable truths and creating a safer, more equitable industry for all. As the music industry grapples with the fallout from these troubling incidents, there is a growing recognition of the need for systemic change. From implementing comprehensive policies and protocols to fostering a culture of consent and respect, there is much work to be done to create a safer, more inclusive environment for all. By confronting uncomfortable truths, holding abusers accountable, and prioritizing the well-being of survivors, the industry can begin to rebuild trust and move forward on a path toward meaningful change. In the wake of the disturbing revelations and allegations surfacing within the music industry, there is a resounding call for action and support to address the systemic issues of exploitation and abuse. Survivors, advocates, and concerned individuals are mobilizing to demand accountability, prioritize the well-being of those affected, and enact meaningful change to prevent future harm. Central to the movement for justice is the amplification of survivor voices. Through courageous testimony and public statements, survivors are shedding light on their experiences of exploitation and abuse, breaking the silence that has long shrouded these issues in secrecy. Their bravery in speaking out serves as a catalyst for change, inspiring others to come forward and holding perpetrators accountable for their actions. There is an urgent need for accountability within the music industry. Survivors and advocates are calling for thorough investigations into allegations of misconduct, with a focus on holding perpetrators, enablers, and institutions accountable for their roles in perpetuating harm. This includes advocating for legal action where appropriate and ensuring that survivors have access to justice and recourse for the harm they have endured. Support services for survivors are essential in the pursuit of justice and healing. This includes access to trauma-informed counseling, legal assistance, and advocacy resources to help survivors navigate the complex process of seeking justice. Additionally, community-based support networks and peer-led initiatives play a crucial role in providing survivors with validation, solidarity, and empowerment as they navigate their path toward healing and recovery. Addressing the root causes of exploitation and abuse requires comprehensive structural reforms within the music industry. This includes the development and implementation of robust policies and protocols to prevent and address misconduct, as well as the establishment of independent oversight mechanisms to ensure accountability and transparency. By addressing systemic failures and inequities, the industry can create a safer and more equitable environment for all participants. Education and awareness are key components of preventing exploitation and abuse. Efforts to promote understanding of consent, boundaries, and power dynamics are essential in fostering a culture of respect and safety within the industry. This includes providing training and resources for industry professionals, artists, and fans to recognize and respond to signs of exploitation and abuse, as well as promoting open and honest dialogue about these critical issues. Advocacy efforts are instrumental in driving systemic change within the music industry. Survivors, advocates, and allies are working together to push for policy reforms, industry-wide standards, and cultural shifts that prioritize the safety and well-being of all participants. By leveraging collective voices and mobilizing for change, advocates are pushing the industry toward a future where exploitation and abuse are no longer tolerated or excused.